every superhero movie ever. Assemble!
Welcome back, everybody, to Starry Bandit Comics Every Superhero Movie Ever video series. We're back with another 5-pack of movies for you. This is number 183, and 183's movie is Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. This movie is from 1997. Now, let me go back in time a little bit to give you a little bit more information about Starry Bandit here. I was a huge Power Rangers fan. I used to get home from school. I would run, nay sprint down the street to my neighbor's house so I could go and watch the day's episode of Power Rangers. And that was the original Power Rangers I watched. I don't know if it was from the very beginning, but I remember watching all those episodes over and over and over. I loved them. I loved everybody. Kimberly was actually my favorite, but also Tommy. I mean, Green Ranger, White Ranger, so badass, so cool. Jason was, I loved all of them, alright? So I was a huge Power Rangers fan, so let me get that off, so let me get that straight right off the rip, okay? I had never watched Turbo, Power Rangers movie from 1997, until I was watching it for this list. And let me just say, it was horrible. It was really bad. Listen, there was plenty of normal Power Rangers shenanigans, okay? And I have to admit, you know, the first movie, its position on this list is significantly higher than this one. Now, a lot of that could be nostalgia. Could be that I loved the OG Power Rangers cast, and Rita Repulsa, and Lord Zed, and Ivan Ooze. I mean, come on, what a villain, right? And all the putties. But we'll get there another time. This was just a straight knockoff. It's like Wish.com Power Rangers movie, if we're really being honest about this. So the main villain here, instead of Ivan Ooze or Rita Repulsa, is Divatox. Divatox. That's right, Divatox. Now, she is basically Rita Repulsa, but well, she's gussied up a little bit. We'll say that. Because when you have children clamoring for more kids' action movies, what you really want is as much cleavage as possible. We've all known that all the time. Really just confuse the kids, you know, kind of awaken some things inside of them or something. I don't know what are they thinking with this. This is like, I don't know, this is like Spirit Halloween Rita Repulsa, sexy Rita Repulsa costume or something. I don't know what's happening here. She still has henchmen, lead henchmen, and although he sounds like Goldar, it's not. Our movie kind of opens with kind of like this tragic story preparing for like a charity boxing event or kickboxing event where Tommy and Jason, our heroes, are sparring, and Jason has a horrific accent. He flies over the ring and like, I don't know, breaks his leg or something, so he's down for the count. So we do get some Tommy here, and Kimberly, but they're basically preparing to like retire and like move on, some like sailing thing or something. So we have our new Power Rangers We do get Bulk and Skull here, so that's a plus, but it just feels like keep getting them checks, Bulk and Skull. You know, like, let me get him a little bit more residuals off of this show, because we're obviously not being hired for anything else ever in the world. Long story short, I'm not even gonna go through the whole plot, but Divatox needs like magic and steals this, like, kidnaps this wizard who's like a giant Furby to unleash or unlock this lava demon or something who she's gonna marry, and they're gonna rule the universe or something. So obviously, the Power Rangers have to step in. There's also like a lot of like threatening of families for the wizard who can't really talk by Divatox. Obviously, just meant to show that she's really truly evil. You don't have to even question that piece of it. I do have to say, there was one sequence. Okay, one sequence that I really liked, even though it was corny. So towards the end of the movie, let me, in case you haven't seen Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, let me throw up the spoiler alert here. Yep, okay. Good, everyone's on the same page. Alright, caution. Toward the end, they're in Divatox's like main cave lair. Power Rangers are fighting, and who shows up? But evil versions of Tommy and Kimberly out of nowhere. But our Power Rangers don't know they're evil until you see their eyes, and they start fighting them. And I gotta say, Kimberly and Tommy kick some ass. Like, they're awesome. I really like. I remember I was like watching the movie, just kind of like sitting back, like I don't even know what else I was doing. But I like, it was a little bit of like a, oh, wait a minute, Tommy and Kim. Oh, all right. Listen, wow. All right, yeah. It was good. I have to say that was a good sequence. I think that actually probably bumped it up either a half or full star in my rating. If I'm being really honest about this. But it's really truly not a movie you need to see. If you really are itching to go see a Power Rangers movie, just watch the original. But again, we'll get there when we get there. We don't want to rush things. We're taking things one movie at a time. So, Turbo Power Rangers movie from 1997 got 1.5 stars from me. So again, that evil Tommy and Kimberly fight probably pushed up quite a bit. We do get a happy ending, of course, and Divatox is defeated. But again, it's not a great movie. But that is movie 183.
Every superhero movie ever. Assemble.
Okay, so 182 on our list is actually a pretty recent movie. This is Hellboy, A Crooked Man from 2024. Now, you're going to hear this from me a number of times during this video series, but in my mind, the worst, let's say, sin in honor of this movie, or lack thereof, I guess, I don't know, is being boring.
So good times are coming.
I think so too.
I ain't gonna miss this place much.
Me neither. Can't wait to get home and just document all of this.
Yeah, that Tom Farrell's not a bad egg.
It's lucky you came along when you did.
He just needed a little push, that's all.
Like, these are superhero movies, right? Most of them are action movies, hypothetically. There's maybe bright colors, there's interesting characters, there's all these like backstories, like decades and decades for most characters that you're gonna see on this list. And Hellboy actually, he's got a pretty big comic following. He's got a pretty big movie following. And I just can't tolerate a movie just being boring and plotting. And that's what this was. And that's why this is so low on the list. In terms of technical aspect, it definitely is better than a number of movies that are ahead of it. But I could not get to the end of this movie more or fast enough. It was very boring, unfortunately. The first two Hellboy movies, which are also on this list, but again, a little further up here. To be honest, a little bit of a foreshadow. I'm not the biggest fan of those movies. movies. I think they're decent. They're good. They're campy. But again, we'll get there when we get there. This movie was like, I don't know. People were like, oh, Hellboy has a pretty good following. Maybe we do this kind of moody, slow horror version of a movie featuring Hellboy, starring Jack Kesey, who nobody knows. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't. I didn't know him from anything. On IMDb, I've watched a number of movies that he's been in, and TV shows, but I couldn't place him once. I did not watch The Strain, and apparently he was in 29 episodes of that, so I don't know. Maybe you were big Strain fans and were like, oh my god, I can't believe that guy was Hellboy, what? But he doesn't even, he doesn't even like embody the character. I just don't know who this movie is for. I don't know who they made it for. It's got a lot of like occult, witch, religion, demon, church kind of themes, but doesn't really say anything about any of it. The horror piece of it, that's why I keep like giving you quotation marks, is it feels like I was watching like Are You Afraid of the Dark when I was 10. Like that level of like scary, spooky. There may have been a jump scare or two, but like literally I think my pulse, I was just like this the whole time. So like my pulse was so low that even the jump scare probably just brought me to like normal resting heart rate. It's really not good. In this movie, they get stranded. Again, I'm not going to go through all the plot details here. That's not what this is for. This is just to give you some background. But they get stuck in Appalachia. Wherever. Some state in Appalachia. And they're just walking through a forest. And every once in a while, there's something kind of creepy. Or they come across somebody who, may or may not be able to be trusted. And they keep talking about the Crooked Man, and his influence on these woods, and you have to be aware of him and all that. And man, that Crooked Man, it's in the title, is pretty underwhelming. Now, this does come straight from a Hellboy series or graphic novel, I don't remember which I have not read. I've not read any Hellboy comics, really. So maybe the comic is good. If it is, then again, why make this movie this way? I don't know. Was it to, hold on to the movie rights or something? Because it was a while between Hellboy movies, and maybe you want to do something with it, and I don't know. But it's pretty bad. Okay, now, I'm gonna... When even thinking about the creators of this movie, so the writer is Brian Taylor, okay? Brian Taylor made a couple of very important films to Hollywood history. Crank and Crank 2 High Voltage. That's right. Movies that basically are like, we have to propel action all the time, because if this guy's heartbeat goes below whatever beats per minute, he's gonna explode. Jason Statham, running all over, doing cocaine, having sex in public, jumping off things, like, whatever he can do to keep his heart going crazy. And this is like Hellboy, the Crooked Man, is like literally the opposite. It's like, okay, if Hellboy's heartbeat, or the audience, if the beats per minute fall above 40, well, we're all gonna die. Because that's how slow and boring this movie is. I can't believe that the same person wrote these two movies. Oh, he also directed those movies. The like propulsive energy. Like I'm flabbergasted by this movie. So, all in all, Hellboy, A Crooked Man from 2024, got 1.5 stars for me on Letterboxd, and it falls at number 182 on our Every Superhero Movie Ever list.
Every superhero movie ever. Assemble.
All right, for this one we had to turn the hat the other way around because number 181 is our first full-fledged comedy on this list. This is Superhero Movie from 2008. That's right, surprisingly, Superhero Movie is on the Every Superhero Movie Ever list. Now, this was a one in a long run of movies that stemmed out of the success of Scary Movie in the late 90s, early 2000s. First one was a genuine hit. Incredible comedy. I haven't watched it in a long time, but very warm memories in my heart. Scary Movie 2, also very good. Scary Movie 3, a little worse, but there's still some laughs. And they made Epic Movie. They made Not Another Teen Movie. That one was okay. And then somewhere in that range, in 2008, they made Superhero Movie. Now, Superhero Movie is a parody of superhero movies. I've said that so many times already in this video. Apologies. It's virtually not frame for frame, but pretty close remake of the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Clearly, that's the basis for this movie. Drake Bell is our bizarro Peter Parker, basically. Sarah Paxton is MJ. We get Charlie's mom as the Aunt May kind of stand-in. It's not a great movie, which is why it's this far down on the list. And, you know, there are a lot of wants for this movie that were not there. As far as comedies go, it's here's the thing. It's not that it's not funny. It was made at a time very different to now, where like this movie could not be made today. I would put the over-under at Stephen Hawking jokes in this movie, and at his expense, in terms of his disability and things, at like, I don't know, 8 jokes, 12 jokes, I don't know. They have an actor playing Stephen Hawking getting into horrific accidents. I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's horrible. They do some horrible things in this movie. But there are also some genuinely, like, good parts. So, Drake Bell's best friend is a young Kevin Hart in this movie. It doesn't have a lot to do, but it is kind of fun watching him, you know, at this point. Now that's, 18 years ago. So that's kind of cool. We have Shooter McGavin plays the Green Goblin-esque character here. Tech billionaire or something. I can't remember what he does. There's some... Leslie Nielsen is the Uncle Ben part, and he's always great. Again, definitely some things that wouldn't be there today. But of all the movies we've talked about so far on the list, this sort of bottom portion, this probably has the scene that gave me the most joy of any movie on the list. And I almost was like, I was begrudging in the guffaw that came out of me. Jeez. At one point, so they do the whole like Thanksgiving dinner type of thing with Norman Osborn and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But in this version, he leaves, and then Drake Bell is talking to we'll just say MJ. She's not. Her character, I don't remember her name. It's Jill Johnson. JJ. Jill Johnson. So is telling Jill, he's trying to express his feelings to her. On May. Oh my god, I can't even get this out. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it gets me every time. Okay. Alright, so Aunt May is sleeping on the couch. Alright. Laying down behind them. Drake Bell and Jill Johnson are talking. Drake is trying to express his feelings, but he's fumbling with the words, he's awkward, you know, all that stuff. And at one point, he's about to kind of say what the point is of all this as he's rambling, and Aunt May lets out a fart. Okay.
I told him the thing about Jill is, when you look in her eyes and she looks back in yours, you...
And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, by the way, I am pretty sure I did watch this movie when it came out. I might have seen it in theaters. I don't remember. But I definitely remembered a lot of this movie, but did not remember this scene. Aunt May starts farting. And I mean, I keep saying Aunt May. It's not Aunt May, but that's basically who it is. And it gets more and more ludicrous. You know, fart is like, you know, blowing like characters' hair, you know, across their face. It's like, you know, clearly the stench is like entering the room. And I just lost it. It just kept happening. It was more and more egregious and more loud. It ends up with, you know, an explosion, you know, with, you know, match. It's just, again, it's very immature and childish, and I loved it, and I could not stop laughing to the point my wife was like, "What are you watching?" And I had to share, and then I had to show her the scene, and I was trying to describe the scene for her, and I couldn't even do it without cracking up. So anyway, that really kind of like puts it over the edge to cross off all of the, you know, concerning parts of this movie from like, you know, you shouldn't do that. There's a whole like Leslie Nielsen necrophilia scene, like pretty much full on. Like it's just, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was just not very good, that shouldn't have been in this movie. So thinking about the creator aspect of superhero movie, it was written and directed by someone who might sound familiar, Craig Mazin. That's right, Craig Mazin, who wrote Chernobyl, who's the showrunner on The Last of Us, who did Hangover 2 and 3, but like just very interesting. He's got a very interesting career. He did do Scary Movie 4 and 5, which is probably how he ended up with superhero movie. He also did, I don't know if anyone has seen this or remembers it. It's called Senseless. It's Marlon Wayans and David Spade, and Marlon Wayans takes this like serum, and I don't even remember what happened, but actually I remember liking that movie when I was younger. So very odd that he moved from like these types of movies. He also did Identity Thief with Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy, which actually I like that movie. But interesting, he moved into Sirius, and he does like 2 of the more acclaimed shows of the last, like, you know, 5 to 7 years. I forget, Chernobyl. But just interesting to know. One other moment that I thought was impressive writing. Okay, all the other factors don't matter, but they go to this event for like a company, and there's a singer like a Frank Sinatra type singer, you know, and they're talking about accomplishments for their industry, and they within the industry they have an award for innovations in feminine hygiene products. It's called the Douchebag of the Year award. And I just have to say that's pretty impressive, clever writing. Because you could to legitimately be able to give that award out, and that's totally serious. That's what it is. It's the Douchebag of the Year. But the kicker is then the Frank Sinatra type singer is doing a whole song about the Douchebag of the Year, which was also quite pleasant. Again, worst thing you can do is be boring. Next worst is some pretty problematic jokes and things. Like, I'm not even. It's just horrible. Mostly related to Stephen Hawking, if we're being serious. And at least give me some, like, even if begrudging, laughs, giggles, guffaws. I appreciate that. So, superhero movie comes in at number 181.
Every superhero movie ever. Assemble.
Coming in at movie 180 is Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's right. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, from 2007, directed by Tim Story. Okay. We're gonna have, this is the second Fantastic Four movie that's on this list. There are 5 in total that are on the list, obviously. Man. We'll talk about the first Fantastic Four in this duology later in this series. But the miscast of these movies just so bad. I mean, it was really made in, like, the worst time for CGI and, like, making movies, and people didn't really know what to do. And this movie is just, it's so corny. And not in a fun, campy way. It's just corny. It's so bad. I don't like looking at the face of either Mr. Fantastic or Doctor Doom. I don't like either of their faces. I'm sorry. Nothing against them. I'm sure they're nice people. I don't, Julian McMahon, Eowyn Gruffudd? I've never said it out loud until now. That's Mr. Fantastic. Why? Why'd you pick him? Jessica Alba is obviously for the name, but I don't think she... And I was actually a big fan of Dark Angel, when her first TV show when it came out, but just miscast as Sue Storm. And I love Michael Chiklis from The Shield. Shield is one of my first, beginning of the, golden age, peak era TV range of things, shows. I love that show. Michael Chiklis, he's okay, but the costume is just, it's just so bad. It's really bad. Now, this movie, it's playing the same story that the new Fantastic Four movie utilized, right? It's Silver Surfer as Herald for Galactus. We'll talk about the most recent entry in the Fantastic Four movie set when it gets here on the list as well. This was, again, just total miss. Well, not total miss. Now, Silver Surfer is one of my favorite characters. Where is he? There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Silver Surfer. I love Silver Surfer. One of my favorite characters in comics. if not my favorite. Oh look, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, there's another Silver Surfer up there. Anyway, I actually didn't think their version was that bad. Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer, actually pretty cool. I'm okay with that. But they ruin everything with the Galactus reveal. Spoiler alert, if you want it. But in this movie, Galactus is a freaking cloud? What? Like, I mean, maybe this had to do with, like, again, the era. They could do a lot of things, or they thought they could do a lot of things with CGI at that point, but found that maybe they really couldn't. Maybe the budget went to other things. I don't know, but, like Silver Surfer, and they couldn't do Galactus to make it look realistic. I love the new Galactus, by the way, but we'll get there, eventually. But, it's just, there's, like, you know, wedding of Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm gets interrupted on the rooftop. It's just, I don't know, it just looks so cheesy and corny. Like, they're trying to go for, like, comic book movie, like, comic book, and it just looks bad. Now, the director for this movie is Tim Story. He did the first movie of this duology as well, and he's got pretty checkered movie history. He did do Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson. Cool. He also did Taxi with Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon, who, you know, that movie was, when it came out, was largely regarded as one of the worst movies ever made. I don't think it was as bad as that, but it was very bad. Did also do Ride Along. Pretty good. Ride Along 2. Okay. So, I don't know. He's done a lot of TV stuff also, but just missed the mark on these for sure. And again, it could have had to do with budget, but my guess is this was his vision, you know, and, you know, Marvel and movie making, you know, it came out after Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 3. I think and 3 came out. So that, and X-Men had come out, so it's like, oh, now we're going into, like, the first family, you know, of Marvel, and it was a complete dud. I'm going to talk more about the intro of those characters and then video about Fantastic Four, the first movie here, but it was a total miss. And talk about, you know, boring being a sin in my book. One of the biggest sins you could do in this type of movie and on this movie list. And this movie's boring. It's just it's pretty boring and cheesy and corny, all negatives. So, but they did nail Silver Surfer. It is superhero. It is Marvel. I do love Marvel. So we did put it here on 180. Spot number 180 on every superhero movie ever list. That's Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer from 2007.
Every superhero movie ever. Assemble.
All right, movie 179. I might have fooled you if you watched the last one, thinking it's going to be a lot later. It's Fantastic Four from 2005. Now, I realized the biggest omission from me actually talking about the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie was not talking about Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. Chris Evans obviously would later be cast in another role in a Marvel movie and series of movies, the MCU, as Captain America. He actually, you know, of all the castings that I talked about in the last video, his was pretty decent. I think he makes a decent Johnny Storm. He's definitely got, like, the bold, brash, you know, into girls thing going on. This movie, definitely better than the sequel. There's some set pieces that are really good on the bridge. Even kind of like some of the fight with Dr. Doom. It's okay. You know, even, and actually the origin, you know, going up in space.
okay, Johnny?
Doctor Doom's okay, but the design of pretty much of everything is pretty bad. The one knock on this that, you know, really didn't like was, you know, Jessica Alba being Invisible Woman. Maybe stunt casting is a little too strong of a term for her casting in the role, but there's the kind of like infamous moment from this movie has to do with Jessica Alba. She's invisible, you know, and for the first time she's walking the street. There's a whole crowd of people, and she reappears, and she's in her undergarments, and it's clearly there for the trailer. It's there for all of the, like, you know, nerd bros looking for whatever they're looking for. Like, you know, it's really just, it doesn't belong in the movie. Like, it's supposed to be, like, funny, but it's really just kind of uncomfortable. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jessica Alba has talked about it since, that, you know, she really didn't like having to do that in the movie. This was an era, as pretty much every era has been for women, unfortunately, in movies, where they are encouraged to do things that maybe they aren't as comfortable doing. But it really was like a continuation of that era of just, you know, throw her in the movie and throw her in, you know, bra and underwear, and it's gonna sell tickets. So I think some of the CGI in this, I think Human Torch, the CGI is actually pretty good. But the story just isn't great. The writing is not great. Which, by the way, this movie was written by co-creator and writer of Twin Peaks. Like, what? Like, how did you do Twin Peaks, and then you came and did this movie? And actually, he wrote Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer also. So I don't know. It's just a mess of a movie. Seems like way too many hands in the pot. So definitely belongs pretty low on this list where it sits. It was 1.5 stars on Letterboxd for me, and again, it's number 179 on the Every Superhero Movie Ever